here we go. Do it so.
Yes! Just say what you
Don't
mean
say
and mean what
action,
you
man.
say.
Don't say action.
Action.
Here we go. This is Miss Blue. Say a pause bit. We were going to do a face, feet,
And bum.
trim by trimming around her bum hole here. This is just so she doesn't get poop on her. And I just hold her up with my arm like this. And then I hold her tail like this, and then I use my right hand for my scissors since I am right-handed. And then I just go nice and close to her bum hole where anywhere where you can see if there's poo in any of the hair here. We just want to trim that off for her. And you're just gonna brush around it. Then I'm gonna take her tail. We've already brushed it out. And her mom likes it just a little shaggy looking. I'm gonna take my chunkers. Curved chunking shears here. And I'm just gonna take a little bit off, little length off the bottom for her. Now I'm working my way to her feet. So what I'll do is I'll comb her all the way through, down her legs. And then I like to lift up each foot while I do the bottom. You just get all the hair combed down, but it's coming around the pads of her feet. And then I take my scissors, and you can see where the top of her pad is here. So what I'm gonna do is take the scissors and just trim straight across, just so you get a good view of that whole bottom pad. And then you can work your way in between all the rest of the pads, lifting up the fur if you need to see where the pad is. But you wanna have a full visual on all the pads. We're just gonna take out all this extra hair that will collect dirt and snow. It's just pointless hair, really. Now that all the hair is trimmed away from there, take my small nail clippers. This is mostly just to get her used to the feeling of my hand on her foot. And I like to do it from upside down because then it's easier to see where her little quick is. We got a viewer question about how to see the quicks. It is kind of difficult to see on the darker nails, but that's why I like to do them from underneath. That way you can see kind of right inside the toenail from the bottom. You can see her quick is actually pretty close to the end there. If you look on the white toenail, you can definitely see where the pink ends right there. So we're not going to be able to take too much off that one, which should give us a good indication that we're not going to be able to take too much off any of her other toes as well, which will be the same case for this. You can see where the pink ends right there. When you see where the pink ends there, I'll show you what happens when we take just that little bit off. Then when you're looking at from the top underneath, you can also see that the quick is right there in the center. You can see that the nail kind of grows around it. We're gonna do just one more nail here. This one's a dark nail. This one, you can't really go from the side to see where the quick is because obviously we can't see it. So we're depending more on going from the underneath and getting a visual that way. So as you can see, I'm not taking too much off. And you can always just go little bits at a time and work your way down until you can see that quick. Okay, so now that I've got both her back feet done, what I would normally do at this point is just kind of brush all the hair down, and I'm gonna go with my curved shears and just trim around the foot, even flush with the toes, the end of the toenails. See, when we did clip all the hair from underneath, even with the pads, that should have done most of the job, but you'll still notice there'll be a couple of straggly hairs going out on top of the foot. So the other thing I usually do is just go down right from the leg, especially if the foot's small, and just kind of even out some of this leg hair, just so it blends in nicer with the foot. And down the back, just so they normally have that curve right there in their hock. So I usually just accentuate that by trimming this hair with my curved shears and going straight down from the back elbow down to the foot there. Okay, so then we're gonna do the same thing. So on the other side. So again, you wanna just comb that hair down. And you can see right where her back elbow is right there. And you just wanna kinda go down and blend into the foot. And again, I'm gonna go around the foot, clipping the hair flush with the toenails. And then from the inside, evening out that leg hair to blend it in. Blue's got a lot of stragglies. If she was in for a full haircut, I'd probably take a lot more off of these legs, but right now we're just gonna try and blend what she's got in with her feet. Next, I'm gonna do her other back leg. I always try and do both back ones first. This one I won't be able to hold her up as much, so she's now got the feeling of doing this leg with me being able to hold her up, but now she'll know that she's gotta stay standing when I do this leg here. If it's a little dog, I tend to like keep my hand here just to hold her bum from pressing this way. The other way, the angle might be a little more difficult for you to see. You just get your head down low. Blue's front paws.
Good.
What we're gonna do is try and go straight down. So she doesn't have the elbow quite as prominent as on the front ones as they do on the back. So what we do more on the front is gonna go more straight down for her to blend in with the feet. So I take my curved shears and do the reverse curve just because of the side that I'm on. And I kind of blend everything right down to those. Right down to her feetsies. And then I find it helps to hold up their other paw as you're trimming, just so they're not trying to move around or pull away from you. I know it's not good to leave my tools on the table here, but they're all at back far enough that Blue's not gonna step on them. Haters quit hating. Now that we have Blue's feet all done, and we're gonna look at this cute little face.
Isn't it adorable?
So here we're just gonna do the bangs. That's all her owner has requested today. I combed all the hair forward, basically from where it starts to part in the back there. So that's any hair that if she's gonna shake her head, is gonna come forward. And now you're gonna take your curved shears. I'm just gonna start right up at the side. And I'm just gonna frame that face.
Isn't it adorable?
You can see with Blue, she's got a bit of staining going on right here. So what I like to do is just kind of pull that up, pull it up on this side, and we're gonna get rid of that hair too. For this one, you're gonna take your straight scissors, and you're just gonna come in nice and close on an angle. Always angled up so that you can see this is just in front of her eye. You never point the scissors like this. You always want them up. And point it kind of away from her eyeball. So if she ever moved, it's pointing away from the eye. You can see as well, this is pointing away from her eyeball. Now here I'm holding her chin hair, just holding it basically to keep her head steady, not pulling on it by any means, but she's kind of more resting her head. And the less I have to hold that chin hair, really the better. We want her to be nice and relaxed and calm. And then I just kind of go down her whole bridge of her nose with the scissors. just gonna comb her little beard out. And we're just gonna ask her owner if she would like just underneath her chin, because what I would do if I was gonna do her chin is get a hold of this nose and I would just trim a little bit off here and a little bit off of here. I'm gonna do now to get a good hold of the dog's face. You can see Blue is already pretty comfortable for me touching around her. Put my fingers right around her jawbone here and then my thumb on her little nose. So you can see my baby pinky is going out towards her chin and this kind of hold her steady in place right there while I take my curved shears and go along underneath her chin. Also, you can feel when she's starting to move, so then you can just pull the shears away if she moves. That way you're not gonna make a cutting mistake that you don't wanna make. So that's for this side. Now I'll do the same thing on this side where I put my back fingers under the back of her jaw. This finger now can hold under her chin, and again, my thumb on the top of her nose. I'm not grabbing, I'm not squeezing, I'm just holding it in place. And you can see she can get away quite easily, but it's more to let her know that we don't want her to. We want her to stay in this position. So you may have to get them kind of used to it, being held that way. This is just for the trimming. And as I said, you can feel them start to move back. So once they're moving back, you don't want to be using your scissors.
Obviously.
If they're moving. Because she has such a straight line along there, I'm just gonna take my chunkers and just kind of blend it all in so it doesn't look quite so defined. I'm gonna do the same thing with my chunking shears. Just so it doesn't look so straight lined. Also gonna just go downwards just to blend her neck into her chin a little. You can also just kind of hold again, holding the underneath hair and blending the neck into the chin. Give it one final little brush out, make sure she's even. So what I'm gonna do is come a little shorter on this side. Over it again with my chunkers. And then check for evenness, and I would say now
she's pretty even.
That's it for bangs and beard and a mani potty on Miss Blue. We'll see you next time on the Girl Guide to Grooming.